Sorry, folks. How you doing? Welcome back, SketchCraft Live. I'm Rob Duenas, graphic artist Esquire. I am drawing Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII. It's the idea. Picking up where I left off. All right, so let's just get back to where I left off. Hey Rob, have you ever tried Prismacolor markers? Yeah, I've used them back in the day, like a couple of times when I was first in college. But they're not refillable, and they don't have the super brush tip. They have that chisel tip, which is fine. You know, if you just wanted to do them, use them to these like silhouettes and stuff. It really had to use to saturate the paper with the marker in order to get it to like blend together. Hmm. My .05 is dying. I need to go grab another one. 1 second. Hey, what up, Josh? Hmm. Hey, what's up? Brandon's not answering his phone. That's what's up. Alrighty, what else? Start drawing her here in a second. Grab some coffee. Are you combining two separate pages side by side for this one? I feel like I remember you rough. Yeah, it's two up side by side. Like so. Kind of hard to see with the camera. Let me zoom it out. Big piece of art, right? See, you don't need to buy posters. You just draw your own shit. And ink your own shit. And color your own shit. So for me, man, I'm just making that stuff I used to really dig from 1997. 1996, 97, 98. This PSM cliffhanger style covers. Without redrawing what they did. Am I a big fan of the Final Fantasy series, or just a few of them in particular? I liked them when they were turn-based. The last one that I really enjoyed was 12. Even though it was not as turn-based as I would like it. I mean, it's kind of like automated, right? But, you know, still had a semblance of turn-based. I mean, you were still battles and stuff. I just don't like how basically Kingdom Hearts has taken over Final Fantasy. Yeah, I mean, like, I like 8, right? But it kind of started turning into like sci-fi J-pop with 8, right? But it was still turn-based. And then 9 was better, and you know, 10 was more of that sci-fi J-pop thing. So, but it still was ATB. But then when they moved into the X2 direction, and I just couldn't. Yeah, I really enjoyed 12. Uh, these days, Bravely Default is more like Final Fantasy than Final Fantasy. I don't really play MMOs, so I don't play the MMO. I like single player. Single player. That's why they're like, we added multiplayer to Final Fantasy 15. I'm like, just the fucking thing. I don't care. You know. So I'm the minority, man. I get it. There's many more people than me who don't give a shit. And if they gave me an option to play 15 as ATB or whatever, then hey, I'd be inclined to play it. I tried to play World of Final Fantasy, but the camera was weird. I don't mind the chibi characters, but it's like the characters were too spread out. Like they're like way on the edges of the screen, and then they'll get cut off. The camera's weird. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Battle Chasers. I backed it last year, right? I mean, look, I like the design of like Kingdom Hearts, like the keyblades and you know the melding of J-pop, JRPG and Disney. I think that's cool. But I couldn't tell you what the fuck's going on those things, and I don't give a shit about games that autoplay themselves. You know, like at least with Final Fantasy 12, there was a semblance of like stacking up certain things, so you, characters could automate things that were seeming to be tedious, but you still had to control shit. At least I did. You had the option, but I don't know. Like I played that demo, the Final Fantasy 15, and I was like, wow, I'm just flying around doing whatever. Yeah, but there's no way they're making that game in a year, so. It's enough. Okay, settle down. Go, go. Yo,
Hello.
10 minutes, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm on Brandon time,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't. I get a short window of time at night, so I try. It's- I assume you're all caught up in the chat room, so I don't have to read it.
Yep.
Okay. So I know you're not a big sports fan, but you seen the whole story of the World Series?
Nope.
You even care?
You can talk about it.
Yeah. So basically, the Cleveland Indians and the Chicago Cubs are in the World Series. The Cleveland Indians, and my facts aren't 100% perfect, but they haven't won the World Series since like 1945, and the Cubs haven't won the World Series since like 1904, like something 100 years ago, craziness. So they're both in the World Series. Cleveland was up 3-1, best of seven. Chicago Cubs won the last two, and now it's 3-3, game seven. Um, Now they were about to start the ninth inning, and Cleveland hits a home run to tie it 6-6. to go into the ninth inning, and then it starts to rain too. It's like a movie moment, you know. The other team hits a home run, game 7, go into the ninth inning, which is pretty wild. Another fun fact: the Cleveland Cavaliers, who won the NBA Finals last year, were down 3-1 in the NBA Finals, and they caught back up to win it. Now, just the opposite for the baseball team; they were up 3-1, and they're about to blow a lead. But
It's fascinating.
now you're all cut out. It's just pretty wild. Like, I mean, as far as like movie scripts go, it's like it's perfect. You know, you're going into the ninth inning, tied 3-3 in the series. The guy just hit a home run to tie it 6-6. It's starting to rain. Pretty wild. That's about it. I'm not a baseball fan, but it's pretty cool. I never like when things are like just blowouts. I mean, it just you expect these people who make millions of dollars to put up a fight. Just like those UFC fights that last like 30 seconds. Sometimes I'm like, damn, like, how do you just get
It
destroyed?
didn't feel like 30. Well, you know, Brandon, that
I know, I'm just joking.
get in the ring and see how long that 30 seconds feels. You know what I mean? Like, time. That is a.
I don't watch a lot of UFC either, but I like that last Diaz and McGregor fight. That thing just kept going. They just knocking each other around. It's pretty wild. Ash says, that's pretty crazy. I don't care for baseball, but I understand the sort of historic moment of this. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, yeah. Historic moment. Just
My
the fact
biological father was a Cubs fan. I know because the only thing I have of his is a baseball glove that's the Cubs. It has his name on it. So I could give a fuck less. But hey, Back to the Future too. You know, almost got it right.
they predicted 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, time to start my lines. And then Josh said, "Yeah, that was an all-time great fight. Conor is my guy." Yeah, I like Conor McGregor, and I follow him on all his media stuff. I like his whole backstory. Do you know anything about his backstory, Rob? Conor McGregor.
Nope.
Um, and again, my facts are always as much as I know, but I read a bunch of stuff on him where him and his wife or girlfriend, whatever she is, when they were in Ireland or Scotland, whichever one it is, they didn't. I know. I know. I don't. Like I said, I'm not a huge UFC fight guy, but I
Yeah,
know
but
this
that has
story.
nothing to do with UFC. That's
All right. What I'm saying is,
you
I know.
know, fucking England, Norway, whatever. You know.
I understand if you call a Scotsman an Irishman, a Scotsman, I get it. I'm pretty sure he's Irish, but I could be wrong. The point is, when they had nothing, they're living in poverty. Instead of her having him quit UFC fighting to go get a real job, she made sure every day that he'd sleep, eat as much as he needed for his fighting, and made him train so that he would keep fighting. And now that he's made it big, he loves spoiling her and taking care of her. And I thought that was a cool story that, she's like, hey, you need to eat, you need to have enough energy for your fights and shit. So,
So what you're saying is she supported him in sickness and in health.
yeah, she's a
You
badass.
supposed.
Yeah.
You want a cookie for that?
Josh said Ireland, bro. Yeah, I thought he was Irish, but like I said, I'm not a huge enough a fan of all the UFC stuff to know all their backstories and stuff. Like if you start talking NFL, I'm like, all right, I know my shit there, but excuse me. Sorry, hit the wrong button.
I figured that out.
when I cut off halfway.
When you coughed in the mic and then cut off halfway. Yeah.
Oh wow! And then now the game, because I just have the TV on in the background. I'm just looking up. It looks like there's going to be a rain delay, so that either it stops raining enough where they could finish the game, or the game might have to be postponed to another day, to tomorrow or something. It's just straight downpour. Wild. So watching the Gnomon video, and also the way you ink and draw, when you go, let's say you're drawing a line from left to right and then right to left, does it feel any different, or is it just as smooth for
Sure,
you?
that's why you want to try to go left to right as much as possible. If you're right-handed.
Right. So it does. Okay.
Yeah, and you can't actually, if you're doing a nib that you dip ink in, you can't go right to left. You gotta go left to
All right.
right.
Because he's like, in the video, he's like, oh, now try it backwards, right to left. And I'm like, well, I don't know how much I would use right to
I
left.
go left to right, man,
Right, and turn
as
the
much as
page.
possible. Yeah, and turn the page.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of stuff
Go
on this
right to
here.
left, like
Look
right
at all
here.
that. Look at all that Final Fantasy stuff. That's gonna be. Um, Ash says, "What Nomon vid?" Um, I'm just going back and going over basic line practice and perspective. Um, my line quality is shit, so I need to train to make crisp, precise lines. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll see a lot of just the dot to dot connecting and practice on that.
It's the basic Scott Robertson DVD. Intro. It's drawing lines. It's this over and 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 over. Yeah, you saw them, but do you do it every day? Like for 2 or 3 years?
I will be.
That's what everyone goes, yeah, I saw that. I'm like, it's not the Matrix. You don't watch it and download it and then you go. Like, you have to do it every day. That's what Brandon did. He watched it. It's like, yeah, watch that. I'm like, look, I don't think you understand. Like, it's not hard, right, Brandon? To start off every day.
No, it's just a matter of it, just like any other thing. Just train yourself to actually do
Yeah,
it.
you're not gonna get a lot of likes. It's not Batman,
No,
It's not tiny
actually,
Batman.
I
That's
think
the new thing now, right? Drawing tiny
yeah, Scott
characters.
Scott
Sean
Gordon
Gordon.
Murphy's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's on Yahoo. Now everyone's gonna just wait for the tiny books. It's all gonna be tiny covers. Like trend art. Like he did it for fun, but I could just see that'll be the new thing, right? Like we're gonna draw everything 1 inch. You know,
Right.
I'm like wonderful. This is why I'm never going to be fucking popular on the internet. You know what I mean? Like,
I was gonna say relevant, but yeah.
yeah, well, I already covered that today.
Right. Oh, you did?
Yeah, we already had that conversation. I'll draw the tiniest Batman. There. Batman. He's in there. Batman.
Oh, Ash said, "Yeah, I saw his post on Instagram. I have the videos though, and it's stuff I've practiced."
Yeah, well, I think you have to do it every day for years until you get there. Why do I think that? Because that's what I did while I was in college. All my gen ed classes. What do you think I was doing all day? Nobody gave a shit. Nobody. Not in school. Nobody cared.
Yeah, I actually think I've lost a couple followers since that's what I've been posting mostly.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's what I gotta learn. But I'll say this: I mean, it's not my best, but my lines on my War Machine are a lot nicer than the lines I was doing a year ago. You know, they're still not. It's not there, but I'm just saying, as far as at least connecting and solid, more solid lines, it's better.
Yeah, well, you also have to learn perspective, which
Right.
you don't, you know, you have not fundamentally understood. Like, yeah, I know perspective. That's where you do the line and the lines. Yeah, that's where you do the line and the lines. All right. Well,
Oh, this box turned out nice. Hooray! One good box.
and people go, well, how do you tie it together and make characters out of it? I'm like, well, you'll know when you've done it enough. Trust me on that one.
Right.
Like it's just hard. It's hard to get. It's just the problem with art is that you can't put 5 years in and expect to see tremendous growth. You know, you can
Right.
keep redrawing things you see and getting better at redrawing things, but like it's gonna take a long time. It's kind of like people think that they can just become like a super chef in a few years,
Right.
and it's like you don't understand. Like if you don't start, if you don't actually start working in a kitchen, professional kitchen at like 16, 17, almost 15 years old, you're never gonna work in a 5-star restaurant. I mean, Anthony Bourdain's really honest about that kind of shit.
Oh yeah. He tells everybody, he's like, hey, I couldn't make it. I wrote my book, and I just you know
Yeah.
he knows he's blessed with what he does. I mean, he talks about it all the time. He's lucky enough to be a TV personality now instead of have to cook and shit. And he'll try stuff. He's like, yeah, I could never make that. It's kind of like Chris, a friend of that we know, Krista. Whatever you know who she is, but other people might. But she went to Japan and she took fucking ramen noodles with her. And I yeah, she's the most picky person eater ever. I mean, I took her to that burrito place I took you to, the one you liked, or the taco place that you liked, but you wanted corn. She said she preferred Taco Bell over that. That's the type of picky
Finish your
person she is.
sentences. I wanted corn tortillas.
That's
They
what I
want
said.
corn. You said I wanted corn.
All right, when I say tacos and I say corn, most people know it's corn
Finish your
tortilla.
sentences and don't expect people to
Sorry,
finish the sentences for you.
Rob Duenas ordered. No, wait, let me try this again. Brandon James ordered tacos for me and Rob Duenas. I prefer flour tortillas. I am white. I like flour. I don't like traditional. I don't like spicy. Rob, on the other hand, likes corn. He did not know he was not getting corn. He would like to get corn if we
Corn
go back there again.
tortillas.
I already said tortillas in the first part of it, so people can't follow along at that point. That's bad.
You're,
Second,
you're hilarious.
anyways, so she brings fucking ramen noodles to Tokyo. I'm like, Krista, you have a chance to go places where an 80-year-old man has made nothing but noodles his entire life since he was a little boy from learning from other people. Like, you have a chance to try something where that's the only thing the person's ever made his entire life, and you took packaged ramen noodles. It blew my fucking mind. I'm like, if I ever had the money to go to Japan,
First
I'm,
off,
I'm
they,
going.
they sell packaged noodles there.
Yeah, but I still though. I'm like, you could go to these people who are masters of their craft, and I'm just like, she's like, well, it's okay. I'm like, Jesus, you might as well go to Panda Express while you're there.
Oh.
Just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm like, "Ugh, I would love to just try some like crazy, amazing dumplings there, and just noodles, and just even the rice, just whatever. Yeah, that box turned out nice too. All right. We're ready for practice. What's that character's name you're drawing right now? I'm not familiar with.
Tifa.
This is Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked. Is his name Cloud, the main guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always liked his look and the giant ass sword, but I never played it. Um, I think when did this come out? What year?
97. September
97.
1st.
So I
And in
was
Japan, January 97.
okay. So I think right around then I was still Pokemoning it up. So I
Might have
don't
been
think I got it.
September 9th. I can't remember. It might have been September 7th. It was September 97.
I think maybe I was maybe 11 or 12, and I didn't get into those games yet. Maybe it's just because it's not.
Yet, you're still not into them.
I like certain. See, here's the thing. I like things about them, and I like turn-based things. 'Cause I play Pokemon. It's just if when there's already like 10 of a game or something, or 10 of a show, it's just hard for me to get into
Uh-huh.
liking it.
Uh-huh.
What? That's the truth.
Uh-huh. Your comic book collection says otherwise.
No, I buy trades, but those are usually standalone stories, story arcs. Nothing upholds in comic books anymore, or art books now. I just buy art books or manga. Those are better.
I'll fix the hand. I'm gonna ink it.
Um, the artist that did the art originally for this, is it a lot of the same artists from the previous ones, or do they usually get new artists for the Final Fantasy
It's
games, or was it?
complicated. You know,
Uh,
for a lot of the original games, there was a lead concept artist, which is Yoshi Taka and Nino. I forget his fucking name. The games rarely ever look like his art. This game had a different art director, even though Yoshitaka did some initial concept work for it. And they tend to have different styles ever since. It was hard to have different art styles when you had pixels, bro. I mean, you were limited,
right.
by so many pixels that can be drawn on screen, so many colors. A mono, thank you. I'm not a name guy. I know it, you know.
Finish your sentences, Rob.
I finished it. I said the fucking name as I knew it. I didn't go, Yoshi, like you know, like, so some Yoshi.
Ash
You just
said his
wanted to get, you
concept.
just wanted to throw out there that I didn't like something you like. That's you get very excited about that.
No, I was explaining how picky she was, and I was saying about and we both know one place we've all been to, which was that place. She's been to it, you've been to it, I've been to it. Ash says his concept art for the earlier games was really trippy.
Yeah, he's more of a fine artist, you know, like a illustrator. Stuff's dope. Like he did a lot of, I think he did a lot of early stuff too on. I don't. I thought he did Castlevania. I know he did a piece for Castlevania, but anyhow, it's irrelevant. Not the artist on this one. I mean, characters didn't even have hands in game.
Just the snub, the square block.
Mm-hmm. I'll work a few of those characters in.
Mm.
All right. It's like I'm drawing this stuff with the pen the way most artists do with their pencils before they get inked. Only I don't get a chance to erase, you know. If I fuck it up, I'm like, well, I'll just
Right.
fix it when I get to it, you know, when I go to ink it. I don't know, man. I just, so like I've been working on, in the hour before I get started, I try to make
Uh-huh.
some time, not every day, but a couple times a week to practice something. So I'm getting back into some of the gritty art. I thought I could do it half size. Because, Brandon, as you know, the gritty pencils sell at cons.
They do.
It's kind of crazy, right? Sketches I did 6 years ago because they're all loose still sell. So people are always asking me, "You can do this character when you get this character?" I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. Like it's not something I normally, you know. I keep telling everyone, "Yeah, it's coming." I don't know. So I'm trying to get ahead of it, you know. Not like the Violator would be a good piece, right? So
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't know. So I thought I could draw it at half size and then just blow it up so you can see the textures. Problem is, really cramps my fucking hand drawing that small, man. Like I was starting to get hand cramps like immediately, you know.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, well, the biggest sellers really are like that Avengers piece and the Batman and the Guyver, you know. And those were all drawn at size. So perhaps I should just fucking. So I was like practicing. I'm like, it's fucking. You know, it's like I can only do it for like an hour before I have to stop. Because drawing with pencils, I don't know, man. It kills my fucking knuckles.
Yeah.
You know, the colored pencil here that I'm using, like with the mechanical lead, it's super smooth, you know? And I'm not being like meticulous with it. I kind of block in what I'm doing, and then I just draw the rest with these little mechanical pens, you know? And there's no pressure there. So, whatever. I'll work it out. I mean, it's a cool look. It's just, then I had rules I created, so I'm gonna have to make a video where I explain to myself how to do it.
with a new job. Does her company do things like where they buy suites to baseball, basketball, football type games or stuff like that, where you guys have to all go?
No, they do something even better. They give you time off. Paid doesn't come out of your paid time off. Just here's a week off. The whole company.
Oh, wow,
Go spend it with your family. And by the way, we're going to let you know a month or two in advance so you can make plans if you want to do something.
that's cool.
Uh, they do some functions there because they have a really nice. They built a really nice compound facility. I don't know. Like they rent it out so people have weddings there. That's how nice it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they're cool. They have this whole May the 4th thing they're planning for next year. Every fucking month, like they kind of like remind everyone it's coming. I'm like, you're gonna make everyone hate Star Wars. Like,
Yeah.
not a good idea. You know. I can't say that, but you know.
Oh, no.
They're like, you know this May the 4th? I'm like, yeah,
Have you heard of it before?
a little bit.
Eat any more candy today?
Brent, I'll never eat that shit again. I gave
I
myself
know.
1 day. 1 day. I don't know what's so funny. Like, you like it for some reason. Like you eat shit every day. I'm like, I'm gonna experiment and see what this is like. Oh, I was sick. And you're like, ha ha ha. You know?
It's funny because you knew it was gonna
Yeah.
fuck with you,
Yeah.
and you still, after a little bit, you force yourself to eat more
Yeah.
of it.
Just so I can never go back in my mind and go,
That's
well,
what I'm
maybe.
saying.
Yeah. That's what I
It's
do.
fun. That's funny.
You know? I
It's
teach myself lessons.
you're the dude in Da Vinci Code. You're slapping the whip on your back.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't watch a movie.
Oh, I don't know. The Da Vinci Code with Tom Hanks. There's a
I
guy in
know the
there who,
Dan Brown, the guy who wrote it. I never watched the
yeah.
movie.
I'm getting to my point here. For the people who don't, I'm giving again, finishing my sentences. There's a guy in the movie, one of the villain or whatever clergy. I don't know what the fuck they are because I'm not religious. He slaps his own back with this little mini whip
No, that's not what I'm
for his
doing.
sins.
That's not it at all.
It's self punishment.
It's not self punishment. It's a reminder so that later on I can like your mind will go, well, maybe it wasn't so bad. No, it was horrible. And so the only way you have to build some kind of memory for that. Like, look, what do you know? Yeah, how's your Mountain Dew?
Why are you getting so mad about it?
Because you just don't know what you're talking about. I don't enjoy punishing myself. Do I look like a guy who punishes myself? This is so punishable. Oh, look how hard this is. Oh my god, I gotta draw stuff. You know? I used to be that guy. I could tell you. In terms of like, I'll be the guy, I will work 100 hours. I will never leave work. I will always stay. I know where that got me.
Josh says, oh, Ash says, Silas. I'm not giving the name. Silas lashing himself. And Josh says, I know what guy you're talking about. Yeah, they know what I meant.
Well, there you go.
People out there got it on the interwebs. And this is just one half, right? There's going to be another 11 by 17 next to it.
Yeah. It's already
All
printed
right.
up and set up. Yeah.
All right.
How long have I been doing this? 4.5 hours. It's making progress.
Oh, nice.
Believe me, every time I post a regular podcast, I get some dude. I get like 4 or 5 people who unsubscribe. You know.
All right.
Then they come back. I get some other people. You know. I don't give a shit. We don't do things here just because they're gonna be popular. That's why I have you on.
Yep.
I know it's good for the podcast.
I'm popular.
Mm.
People enjoy me
Mm-hmm.
like a
Like Bruce
dentist visit.
Jenner. Bruce. Anything's possible. Plastic surgery. You're our
Gabe's.
favorite potato, Brandon. See? I've been thinking what to make you. Like, an icon. And I think I'm going to pixelate a potato and put it Mega Man. Like, mix the Mega Man pixels with the potato.
Yep.
I'm not asking for your permission. I'm just telling
Oh,
you what
I
I'm
know.
going to do.
That's why I'm just saying yep. I didn't say okay, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't say approved or anything. I know I
Mm-hmm.
have no say so, so I just say
Mm-hmm.
yep.
And your dog could be Rush Spud.
I would
Uh-huh.
gladly send you a picture of my dog just to make her the rush. I would be okay with that because I love my dog that much. You sold me on the dog part.
And your nemesis would be Doctor like Veggies or something, because you hate.
Wouldn't it be more like a deep fryer or something?
No, you
Like,
love deep fried.
well, not if I'm a potato.
You think this is supposed to make sense? Like you're applying way too much logic to this, Brandon.
It's how I roll. Logic to the madness. So the Cubs are winning now, top of the 10th, 8-6 with bases fully loaded.
I don't know what that means. I know it was an NES game.
Um, Bases fully loaded means there's 3 bases, right? And all 3 bases are occupied by a player of the offense. So at any point, one of them could score, hopefully, for the Cubs. That makes sense?
Sure.
I think I explained it pretty well. It means it's looking like the Cubs are going to win this.
Kyle went back to Kuwait for that job. If he ends up in a fucking ISIS video, I swear to God. You know?
Yeah.
Which he swears can't possibly happen. To which I said all the people before they ended up in an ISIS video.
Right.
Yeah. Like if they put you in a video, dude, they capture you, you end up in a video, are you gonna critique their shooting? Like, are you gonna tell them that? you know?
Oh, God. What did he say?
I didn't tell him any of that stuff because I didn't have time to
Uh,
talk to him. Just
if you would have had time, though, you would have said it.
of course. but there just wasn't much time. It's not like I need a day or two to think about those wonderful jokes. Time to prep that material.
I think more so, he'd probably give the cameraman some bullshit about lighting or perspective or angles.
I could have them try to draw Attack on Titan, see where that gets them.
Oh, you're like a wife. You don't let it go ever. Never forget.
No, never forget.
Never surrender. Okay, let's see. Let's put that right there. There we go. If you had a kid and he was really into sports, would you get more into sports or would you just kind of let him do his thing?
Let him do his thing. I never cared. My dad was into fucking comics. You know, they got games. I'd be like, hey, good for you. You know,
Right.
congrats. But would I pretend to take, like, I would start learning all the fucking players and shit? No, I don't give a fuck. You know, he's got to learn that not everyone cares about the shit you care about. Matter of fact, the sooner you learn that, the better. The sooner you learn most people don't give a flying fuck about the shit you love. The internet would chill if it would learn that. Hey,
Right.
internet, the world doesn't care what you think. You know? But the internet loves Scott Pilgrim. How much money did that movie make?
A lot.
Sure.
A bajillion dollars.
But bajillion lire, rubles, or some shit like that, you know?
Right.
Not
I was gonna
dollars.
say, I was gonna say like on the back end made money.
Comic book made money. So much the movie. Not really. The kid won't have imposter syndrome. That's for fucking certain.
What's that?
That's what you get when millennials seem to have this because they're, you know, those participation trophies where everyone gets a trophy. Now they
Yeah.
have a problem with because of all those years of doing that. No, none of these millennials can fucking trust a compliment. They all think they're not actually worth anything because you know they just think people are being too nice. So it's a thing where like if you succeed in your job, you don't feel you're actually qualified to do it or you're worth anything. Imposter syndrome.
Oh
That's a
wow.
sign of a first world nation.
Right. Yeah,
My
never.
dad didn't take an act. He didn't care about the sports team that I. Who the fuck cares? Okay, I'll let him talk all day. Oh, that's amazing. Oh wow. Mm-hmm. Oh, my nephews, man. They fucking talk their ear off to me about fucking Grand Theft Auto Online. I don't give a shit. You know, I'm not mean to them.
Just me.
Just let them talk. Yeah, well, you especially. You aren't my child, motherfucker. You act worse. You know what I mean? You're a grown fucking man.
I like that whole like I heard your brain like for a second. You're like wait, no, you're not my fucking kid. Oh, that was good. That was good. Good times on the podcast. I like that. Ash says, "Oh, I agree with that shit. The whole quote, no one loses, everyone wins bullshit."
Yeah, it's a real issue. Now I'm supposed to feel sorry for them because they don't feel like they're worth anything because they were complimented too much. Fuck you. You know what I mean, dude? Like I can't sympathize with that. You know, I had a hard. My parents told me I was good when I wasn't. You know what? Then let me explain to you how little everything's changed. But I make a lot of money. You're still a douche. You know, I know money's got nothing to do with it.
Right.
Plenty of rich douches out there. We're all aware of that. I'm more convinced now than ever that J. Scott Campbell's drawing that Riri chick based off that picture of Holly Robinson that is next to his video game in Nintendo Power. Because he did a new cover, and it's straight up her fucking hairdo in that fucking piece. Not like it, that's it. I'm like, wow. Like, he had to. Like, I don't know, I like drawing the fucking lines. Like, oh, I can connect these dots here. I can see. Then I don't know, man. I don't know why he cares so much. It's like, you post something, you retweet some chick was like, you know, not happy with his fix, and like, why do you care what these people think, man? You know?
Right.
And half of them like, I used to like Gen 13. I mean, that means you haven't bought anything in 20 years. You know, that means you just the fucking don't count. And you go look at their fucking Twitter feeds and it's filled with just, making fun of Rob Liefeld's art. I'm like, welcome to a 20-year-old joke. Oh, wow, now you guys are all art critics. You're going to run around and tell everyone what they can't draw. Well, joke's on you, motherfucker. That guy's rich. And he just got
Right.
his name all over a fucking $1 billion fucking film. You know what I mean? So, I'm sorry, $800 million film. You know, like, just. And meanwhile, they're going to tell you not to be critical of anybody because that's bullying. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Like, does anything Scott Pilgrim did teach me about the motherfucking double standard? You know, I want the new McDonald burger to be called the double standard. You know, like it's like it's like trying to be healthy, but not really. You know,
Right.
two stacks of deep fried zucchini patties and fucking sriracha batter. You know, like
Hmm.
uh-huh. Steak flavored lettuce. It's the new double standard. You know. To make double standard.
You gonna go see Doctor Strange this weekend?
Already got my tickets.
Nice. IMAX 3D?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Aisle seat so I can bank the fuck out of there just in case. Right next to the exit. That's how I roll, dude. I hate to say it, but I never forget.
Right.
You know?
Oh no, I look over at the thing
I
constantly.
will never go to a Batman movie opening night ever again. That's for fucking certain. Like opening weekend? Mm-mm. I gotta see it early before they can fucking come in the theater and get you. Because, it'll be a Batman movie where it happens again. That'll be where the fucking psychos. They're already dressing like killer clowns. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
just wait till they fucking show up to the movie theater dressed like killer clowns. Oh, yeah, bro, Tato.
Hooray! It's hacked. Or
Hector die. Boom. Speaking of sketch covers, you gotta turn one of those into a Super Patriot. You gotta work on your blues. Your blues are way too fucking dark.
all right.
And you need to add what you're working on. Make a new board with all this fucking checklist shit on there. You can make a new board on the Trello, and you can just select checklist, and then you can copy it from. It'll ask you can copy it from on the other ones.
All right. the the Cubs are one out away from winning it all. Would you rather be the pitcher that has to close the game or the last batter trying to keep his team alive?
I don't know. I honestly don't know a fucking thing about baseball, man. I couldn't tell you. I know that someone throws the ball, you hit. I don't. It's not. I gotta tell you, man. I just didn't give a fuck about sports as a kid. I
Uh,
kind of got into watching some football for a while. Like when Peyton
mhm.
Manning first started in the NFL because I was in the Army and there was nothing else on while I'm drawing, so I leave that on. There wasn't any radio I could listen to, but AFN and a bunch of German techno stations. So that's when I first discovered podcasts in 1999. Thank God. And I figured out how to pirate Stern when I was overseas because they didn't keep that shit. But I don't know if I can think about sports. See what I'm doing, Brandon? This is what I did in high school. Just I'm doing it better. This is it. This is all I'm good at. This and movie trivia. You know? I can make some food. I liked wrestling when I was a kid. The fake stuff.
You still like it.
Like dad stuff. I don't like the new stuff. I don't give a shit what they're doing now. Like it when you could clearly tell they were on cocaine or something. Really tell. I mean, I get a kick out of the people who train for UFC, like the actual act of training. You
Mhm.
know, I like listening to Joe Rogan's podcast for that stuff. I like listening to them talk about, that sort of thing. Because I can appreciate the commitment, like the mental fortitude it takes. I get that. But just sit there. I mean, the last time I went to a baseball game, my uncle fucking dragged me to it. Once it was 2001, 2002. It was the Padres. I think it was when they first opened up that stadium, 2003, maybe 2004, somewhere around there. And they first opened up the one downtown. And it was that Mark McGuire. So this dude gets up to bat. Ken Caminiti. That's what it was. Ken Caminiti. Gets up to bat. Hits what I'm told is a. What is it when all the bases are loaded and he knocks and he get a home run?
Grand Slam.
Hits a grand slam right in front of me. Didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, so this is it, right? This is the best thing you guys got? Okay. Can I go? It's cold. I want to, not the good kind of cold, like the wet cold, The cold I like, but that marine layer where it just gets under your socks, doesn't matter how thick your fucking boots are, your feet are
Yeah.
getting wet. That shit annoys me. So I saw the Grand Slam and I didn't care. I felt nothing in that moment.
Well, now it's 7 to 8.
So that's all I got, Brandon.
Hector says your sketch cover is looking dope, bro. Tato. Your value pushing is sick. Thank you. A lot of help from Walmart. A lot of help from Rob.
If
I
you
could
try
even
to make my new nickname Walmart, I will make your life a living hell. I recommend you try this.
no, I'll pass on that one.
You know,
I'll
I totally
pass.
right you because you're gonna make it real fun for me on this podcast. I'm just letting you know.
No, I'll pass. Um, anyways, nah. I appreciate it, Hector. What Hector's talking about is pushing push and pull in. If I explain this right, and Rob can correct me, is where you push objects to the forefront and other objects back to give the illusion of depth. Correct?
And we use contrast to do that.
Contrast. Okay. So I'm still not there yet with my contrast and blending. I mean, far from it, but it's definitely looking better with the help of SketchCraft, which also there's videos of how to push and pull. I think you called it plushing. Where you have a video.
Plussing.
Plussing. Yeah.
Plushing's where you draw a lot of plushies.
Yeah. Well, my nose is stuffed up. Blame it on that. But yeah, there's videos on here on the channel that show how to do it, and it really helps. And even though I'm on a good chunk of the podcast, I still go back and watch videos before working on the art, just like the background stamps and things like that.
Yeah, those 4-hour real-time videos come in handy then, don't they?
Yeah.
You don't know who's got time to watch this. Oh, when you need the info and you don't want to see, you don't want to figure out what magic trick they did in between start and finish. Drives me nuts.
My buddy, um, he's his whole family has been lifelong Chicago Cubs fans, and he paid and flew. Well, Cubs won the series. They won by 1 point. Hooray! I know you don't care, but he flew all the way out there for one of the games out in Chicago, the World Series games. They lost that game, but he was still there. But I mean, I couldn't imagine spending that kind of money to fly out and see it. But I mean, I guess if it's a once in a lifetime thing, your
Fast forward
favorite.
3 years from now when Brandon spent all this money to go see the Cardinals in the Super Bowl.
Oh, I know. That's what I was leading to. I was leading to that.
I couldn't imagine to. Yeah, I can
Well,
imagine you doing it.
I couldn't afford it the last Super Bowl, so I doubt I can afford it the next Super Bowl. So the shitty part is the Cardinals were before the season started one of the favorite, if not favorite, teams to go to the Super Bowl this year, and now they're looking like they might not even make the fucking playoffs. It's so sad. Like fuck.
Oh, I guess that motivational video you were watching when I was over there didn't mean shit, huh? I told
Well,
you, once their coach got out, I was like, oh, game over. Cut the head off. No, 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 no. Oh, yes, 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 yes.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Your coach, like, got all sick, right?
He's still the coach.
Yeah, but he got sick. It threw everything. I'm telling you, dude. He's not doing the same amount of shit he was doing, what he was intended to do. And they go through those kind of health issues, man. Like, they got to take steps back. Other people have to step up and take things. And so they all run around one person trying to do something. I mean, it's based. Someone in those. It's not. They don't teach. I don't want to get into it.
Can I speak?
Sure.
You make a very good point, and I do believe that to be true. I think he's not as an outspoken and as aggressive and yelling coach as he was last year, probably due to the medical issues. So I believe it does affect this year.
Unless they
I
have a
agree.
QB who can assume control and leadership of that team,
They
it's not
they
like the
do,
military
but
where if you
he's
lose your upper command, everyone below it knows what to do.
it's
Like,
it's weird. The quarterback last year, he's an older quarterback. He's an older veteran.
yeah, I watched it.
He yeah he was almost MVP last year. He had the best, one of the best, besides one of the best quarterback years. But this year, it just ain't there. It's like everybody's underperforming.
Well, luckily there's job security in the NFL, right? Nothing to worry about. Well, if you guys don't support that team, they might go to Vegas.
Oh no, that's the
Or
Chargers.
they might go to LA. I don't know. Didn't they give the fucking Raiders like 700 million or some shit like that? State of Nevada.
No, luckily the Cardinals are owned by an Arizona family, so they ain't going nowhere. I like the owners. The the owner's a big supporter of adopted dogs and trying to heal them, and it's
Everyone in
pretty.
San Diego is deluded by the owners of the Chargers. This I know about. Like it's hilarious. They had a coach that got them what 13-2, some shit like that, right? Like what was it? Was it? You played 15 games, right? Or you
You
played
play
13 games?
no, you play 16.
16. Okay, whatever. It was like 14-2. Wait. They lost two. You know, lost his job. What kind of fucking? And I remember just saying like, you fire that guy for that? Well, he made this bum call. I'm like, you fire that guy for that? Like, well, you gotta understand, man. It's the general manager. It's the genius. I'm like, oh, yeah. It's Chris Claremont that's kicking ass on those X-Men books. That's why they sold 1 million copies. It's the, you know, yeah. Not the artists. No, it's the genius producer in the back. Gotcha. The mastermind. 700 million tax. I guess Ash lives in Nevada. Yeah. Hey man, I fucking hate all those teams. I think they should all have to spend their own money. You know? You're better off subsidizing Comic Con, as far as I'm concerned.
I only truly hate one team, and it's the Raiders. I hate the Raiders because the fans have such a thug mentality. It's such a like
My buddy
thug
Joe loves the
oriented.
Raiders.
80%
So does
of the Raiders fans
Mark.
are very irate
No, not
and
Joe.
very
Yeah, for some reason
thuggish.
he loves the Raiders though. It's amazing.
You
I think
say
he just,
that. You
huh?
say that. Let me go to a Raiders game with Joe and watch him be like, "Fuck you," and want to
Joe
fight.
Joe describes himself as a Hoovian. I seriously doubt. Like,
You say that until he's got the spiked shoulder pads on.
I seriously doubt. Yeah, this I fear not the Hoovians of the world. All right, like he remember he told me that he's like I'm a Hoovie, and you could just see like shit. Why did I tell Rob that? You can see I was like, say again, please, por favor. Como está el stupid? You know. Fucking Hoovian. Woo! I would have got Ric Flair on him. Woo! Hmm. Well, Doctor Who. I'm like, I remember Doctor. I remember before Doctor Who, Matt Smith was ever a thing. I had this whole idea in this comic he was drawing to give the character a fez, and Joe didn't want to do it because he told me fezes were stupid. Now you tell me fezes are great because fucking Matt Smith wore it. He was like, really the fez thing? I'm like, no. Remember that shit? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm fucking Hoovian. You're a poser. You're a poserin. I just think he liked the fucking Raiders because Chargers hate Raiders, and that's all it is. He's just being a contrarian, like that Miss Muffet or Mary or whatever the fuck her name was. Quite contrary. Yeah, Joe's more of a contrarian before he's a fucking Hoovian. I love doing Doctor Who trivia with him because it's his shit. And I'm like, I know more than you. I know more than you. Because I will just leave these on all day while I'm drawing and memorize every little fucking episode, just so I can be like, all right, let's do it. I don't have a job. This is all I do. Give my hand a little bit of a rest here. It's 2 hours. 2 hours of straight drawing.
You know that Spider-Man I drew where he's on the webs, and I did that green background that you fucking hated.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So
Thanks for reminding
I
me.
yes, I'm redrawing it to do a different background because I want to be able to sell it. So I like the look of it. I just want to do a better background.
Stop doing muddy colors.
Well, now I won't because we got the distressings.
You can still fuck it up.
Thanks, Rob.
Don't shortchange yourself.
If I ever do, you're there to help me out and remind me how bad I suck. But anyways, that's what I'm doing right now. It bugged me when I was organizing all the sketch covers I've done, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, oh,
Remember when I bugged me and you're like, what? I'm like, yeah. You'll understand someday. You give enough time away from it, you go do some other stuff, and you come back, you're like, oh, fuck.
right. $10.
I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. I might not be able to do much talking tomorrow. I have to start listening to some lectures and stuff. I have to.
uh, this is Final Fantasy VII, Brain Gamer.
Yeah.
Harry Carey. You know who that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The announcer, Harry Carey. Okay. Just funny. They're showing, since, they just won the World Series, they're showing, like, history clip, and there he was, like, in the stands having a beer in, like, the, I don't know, 80s. I like the sword. I like the perspective on the sword, Rob. And I like how a sword's straight, no curve to it.
That's what she said.
Hey yo, da da da. Oh man. Uh, you done for the night or just taking a break?
Just taking a 5-10 minute break. Man, my hand needs to. You know, if you don't do that, you're gonna get fucking carpal. Have to stretch it out and just sit here, do little fucking reflexes, stretch the fingers. It's retarded, but if you don't fucking do it, you're gonna be in pain.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go blow my nose and get some water.
Did you ever look at any of the Final Fantasy art books? I have in the past, yeah. The last Final Fantasy book I bought was Final Fantasy 9. It's a long time ago. Let's see here. I've got about an hour. Probably should start drawing Sephiroth. Yeah, I'll get him next. And then in the morning, wrap up Aerith. There's a lot of tight little noodling to do on the second page, so second page might be a little bit more. It's not gonna, might be, it's going to be. There's a lot more stuff to do here. It's all a bunch of little things versus big characters, so.
Hooray, I'm back. You gonna sell these line arts or no?
I don't know. Not cheaply. $60.
I'll buy it for $60. I turn around and sell it for even more.
Mm-hmm. So in the morning, I'll finish him next. Then I'll get Aerith. And then in the morning, I'll draw Vincent and this gun first, and then Vincent. And then I'll finish Sephiroth's sword this way. And then from there, Sid. And then Meowth and the cat. And then I can work my way back.
Ash said, I'd be down to buy a copy of the lines. They will be for sale in the near future.
Yeah, I'll have them up in the store. I'll probably put up 5 copies. I only put up 5. Usually 5. You know what I like about it, Brandon? That I didn't draw each character individually and then Photoshop all their compositions together. See? Figured the shit out as is. And I'll start inking it, and then next week you get to do flats. You'll be doing flats while I am drawing Final Fantasy IX. So when you're done with those flats, guess what you're gonna get to do?
More flats?
More flats.
Fuck.
And when you're done with those flats, guess what you get to do?
More flats?
More flats. We got X-Men after that.
I thought Christmas would not come early, but here it is.
Oh, you're going to be working not on Christmas. I refuse to let that happen. But you're going to be working Christmas week. No doubt. And we got X-Men. And then guess what happens after X-Men? X-Men Apocalypse. Oh, shit. And guess what happens after that? Deadpool. You get Deadpool. And guess what happens after that?
I think I'm going to throw up.
Guess what happens after that?
What?
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Mighty Morphin.
Guess what happens after that? Final Fantasy VI. Guess what happens after that?
No, I don't want to guess.
Kingdom Hearts. And finally, guess what happens after that?
No.
Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah, that one from like a long time ago.
Yeah, it's all this stuff.
Yeah, I know. Calm down, Brochatsky.
All right. It's just not going to draw itself.
Don't do it. Sure, there's a program that can just auto draw it, right?
Yeah.
Autodraw.com or something.
It's called South Korea. You just let them fucking... It can draw, man. What do you want me to say about it? It really isn't a lot of work, Brandon. You know? All right, let's see. I mean, I can draw a page a day. Yeah, but then there's also commissions and game caves, so that's a problem. Problem is you can't flatten a day, so.
I can. They just won't turn out very well.
The bagger's like, how long do you think it's going to be? I'm like, guys, I don't know.
Right.
Probably take me a full year once everything's done, dude. You know? That's how long they took. I had a plan, and then, life. I will never add 20 fucking things to the end of a Kickstarter again. Alright? Promise. One full set. That's the fucking goal, Next time. But like I said, man, at the end of the day, dude, what am I complaining about?
Yeah, quit complaining.
You're learning Photoshop, aren't you? You always wanted to know. Now you're learning. And so I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do that fucking Darksiders thing. And everyone was like, oh my god, you fucking Darksiders. Like, that was the one thing I was, oh yeah, the one thing. you know? Oh wait. How about just pick something else?
I just saw two things. One, Umberto
Mm-hmm.
posted a Teen Titans cover,
Oh yeah,
just
I
the
saw that.
shock face. So I'm guessing they greenlit something on that.
It's possible.
And then I just saw the J. Scott Campbell redraw cover. I like how the problem before was her boobs, and now he went and just put a helmet in front of them. Like,
I don't know, man. He can't appease with an entire group of people that just, they're not going to like anything you do, man. They don't care. I mean, it's like the Tim Shaver thing, like I'm not allowed to like Psychonauts, because Twitter said so. So meanwhile, I've tried to get onto it. Like, guys, I mean, this is not a conspiracy theory. Governments use Twitter to foment certain ideological things. Like, remember the Arab Spring? We use Twitter to get all of them connected. I'm like, yeah, that means they manipulate people on Twitter. Like, you don't know who's tweeting this shit. For all I know, it's a fucking robot playing a game with us. I don't fucking know.
right.
I abhor tribalism. You know, I was in the army. I know what that's like. You know, I'm not. I don't want to. I just don't understand what he's trying to prove. Like these people don't buy things. It's not like you let down your fans. You just. That's why I get the people who are like, I used to like your stuff. What? Gen 13. You know those were all teenagers, right? And none of them were built like teenagers. And they smoked and drank and did a bunch of shit that, you know. And there weren't any black ones in there, so, you know, that's not fair too. Like, I don't know, you know? Like, it's just. And the one Asian guy did kung fu, so isn't that. You see what I mean, Brandon? Like, you can't. You can't win. So. I don't know why he's, like, trying to prove things to these people. Like, just fucking let it go. They hate you. Enjoy it.
Right. Oh, by the way, Johnny's in the room. Johnny says hi.
Oh, how you doing? Why are you sounding depressed about that? Johnny's in the
Because it's
room.
Johnny, my nemesis. No, I'm just joking. Nah, hey, Johnny. Oh, here you go. The Undertaker's making a comeback in the WWE, Rob.
I don't follow modern. I only watched up until Bret Hart got kicked out, and then I rewatched. Then I saw some of the Rock stuff, which I like. He was cool. And then I waited till Bret Hart came back, watched some of that stuff, realized how much I hate modern wrestling. Just wanted to see that storyline play out, and I'm done. You know, I like to watch my old shit. It was super cheesy when they had no money. I like that. I like the no money aspect of it.
Johnny says, Brandon, are you working on a cover or flats right now? Right now, I'm redoing a sketch cover I did probably a year ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago. 8 months ago.
He'll be working
7
on
months ago.
flats next week.
Right. So I'm just kind of working on some redoing the War Machine on 11 by 14, redoing a couple sketch covers, things like that. Because the next couple weeks will be flats. Also, still dying. I thought today I'd be better, but I sound like shit.
I did not notice.
Right. Chess says 80s wrestling is the best. Johnny says I dub the Nemesis B. Brain Gamer says Undertaker was acting petty because he lost to Brock Lesnar. LOL. Is that guy a bad guy?
Yep.
Do each Final Fantasy game, do the characters change, or are some
Different
of them in the
universe
sequel?
each time. Different
Oh, it's a
setting.
different universe. Okay.
Mm.
Because I always wondered that, because sometimes the games look like they have a more magic look, and then sometimes the games look like they have more technology
Yeah.
worlds. And I was always like, well, I always thought it was one world, and I'm like, how do they have like such weird shit going on like that? Where it's like this looks futuristic, but then this looks medieval. So,
Well, they don't explain that. It just happens. But it just looks cool.
do they say it's different universes, or
Yeah, it's
you're
a different
just
time. It's a different story, different thing every time.
okay?
Planets aren't even remotely.
But it's just called. Why is it called? Then why is it called
Because
Final
it's the
Fantasy?
final story, and then well, I'll tell you why it's called Final Fantasy. Because it was going to be their last fucking game. They literally were out of money. The guy Haka Sakaguchi. Last name's Sakaguchi, right? Yeah, Sakaguchi-san. So was tasked. They got one thing left, and Dragon Quest was really big in Japan, so he tried to make a Dragon Quest game called Final Fantasy. Save the company.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Hirono Sakaguchi? I can't remember. But these days it's more
Uh,
sci-fi, like yeah, sci-fi, J-pop, techno, weird shit.
Johnny says only chocobos and moogles carry over. Chocobos are the yellow chickens, right?
And Sid, yeah, the yellow chickens, which are really from Nausicaa. They borrowed that shit from Miyazaki.
Who said the dog? Who said?
Sid?
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
he's a
said?
character that constantly appears. He's never the same gender or character, just the same name.
No.
Sid. It's like a running thing. So when I was a kid, I had this whole idea for a game called Final Fantasy Dimensions, which would tie all the fucking universes together, and Sid would be the thing. It was like Quantum Leap. That's how I figured it
Yeah,
out. This is
I
way
actually
before,
like
bro. Huh?
I liked Quantum Leap when I was a kid.
And so it was like Quantum Leap, where like Sid would be the guy who's actually connected between all the worlds.
Uh,
And I was like, Cloud can like jump between, and he could talk to Sid throughout each universe. Like, that's what I used to do after playing Final Fantasy VII. Just dream up ways to.
right. Ash says the early games were more Dungeons and Dragons fantasy like. He said there's always a character named Sid, yeah, usually on your team, and you also bump into Biggs and Wedge. And then Brain Gamer said, doesn't Sid always have goggles?
No.
I s-
Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe Sid does always have goggles. You got me there. Like, I really like 7, 9, and Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy 12. Those are my favorites.
Why is Tactics?
Because I like the universe, the story, the battle system. I can just play it forever. It levels up with you, so the world gets harder. The more it's got this job system, so which first was in Final Fantasy, but I like it's just a type of you like chess. It's like
I'm a
that.
checkers man.
Yeah. So yeah, okay, check.
I kind of understand chess. No one's really ever. I've never played chess with anybody. No one's ever explained it to me, so I'd have to learn on my own. So I never wanted to play it against myself.
The only Final Fantasy games that are really connected to one another is there's well the X games are, but the Tactics A2, Tactics A2, Tactics Advance, and Final Fantasy 12 all exist in Ivalice, including Vagrant Story, but just different parts of it. So you never really go back to spots you've been before. It can jump around in time, but it takes place in a continent called Ivalice. That's because the director is the same director who wrote all the scenarios and directed those games. And so he's constantly like, he had his own thing. He's the fucking man. But he quit Square because they drove him fucking crazy.
Johnny says I've only played a bit of Final Fantasy Tactic games. I love the idea of Final Fantasy games, a lot of designs, but I have no desire to play them.
Well, you got a lot more choices now than you did in 1997, bro.
Right.
There's a lot more things to play.
I mean, there's a lot of games where I like the idea or the look, but I never got to play them or never got into them. And I know I probably never have time to do it.
Do I still have to consciously watch for tangent lines when I do tangent lines? Well, what's a tangent line?
Maybe lines like if you draw through a character, when you're drawing another character over it,
Not
so you don't
really.
want to. I mean, that would be my guess.
Mostly, but just draw what's in front. You know, if you kind of goof something up, fix it digitally when you're done. I mean, I'll be digitally inking this, so it doesn't really, you know. As long as the originals look pretty good, like people look at, oh, that looks cool, I'd buy that. Like that's all I give a shit about. And I got all my little details in here. It's easier to, well, sometimes it's easier to just trace it digitally. Other times, like all those Star Wars games, it's just better to just start drawing that digitally. Now the layout would have done traditionally if I could go back a year.
Go back, Rob.
I can do that. Make you fucking flat that shit.
Hell yeah. Nothing better than doing flats twice, am I right? Double the fun. Before we do the next flats, let's take like however long you want, 10 minutes or so, and just go over anything that you might want to point out. Or so there's no problems like the Rick and Morty where
How was I supposed to point that out? There's his shirt. How am I supposed to
I was on a
explain to
time
me?
crunch on
You know the
that.
character. You know how he's designed. It is a very simple character. How am I supposed to know? Hey, here's this guy's collar. Don't fuck that up. I don't know. Like,
Hey, everyone listening to the cast, remember that time where Brandon was like trying to be like, "Hey, man, I just want to
yeah,
double check
but I don't know how to
might need
fucking teach you common
anything that
sense.
might be,
Yeah,
double
the whole
checking."
thing. I'm double checking the whole thing. I think you should just.
So everyone looking at Rob's art right now can know exactly what would be what and everything, right? Everybody can see through all the madness.
I sent reference.
One thing I
The
made
thing
his
that
color.
kills me, right, that you kill
I,
yourself on is when I say shit like, "Hey, that building up there, I just need the building selected." Then you went and like cut up a bunch of stuff and added a bunch of little things.
you
I'm like,
told no.
yeah, no,
You told me the buildings need to be separate. The main house needs to be separate, and you said you wanted the plantate, all the trees and shit to be separate, colored.
nah,
Yes,
nah,
yeah,
no,
you did. You told me that. You may not
totally
remember because
unnecessary.
your mess of the moving, but you told
Totally,
me that.
yeah, totally unnecessary. You get on a
You're like make their house a separate house, and
sure,
then make sure all the other houses and all
sure,
the trees are colored in.
sure. It's all gonna be tonal. It's pointless.
That's on you. You told me on that one.
Hmm.
You voting?
Already did.
Nice. So much easier in the mail.
I learned that one in the army. That's my votes are the ones they never count because you know what I'm saying. Like they just lose them. They always appear 6 months after the election. Oh, we found this bag of votes. Like
Right.
my votes always end up in the Brooklyn, well, in California, they end up in the fucking Golden Gate Bridge. You know what I mean? Just chuck them right off the side.
That's funny. Did you like Doctor Horrible?
Yep.
Think they'll ever make another one?
I think there's too much pressure. When something works well, why bother?
Right.
I think I do give it a happy ending now. People will hate it. They give it a negative ending, a sad
People
ending,
hate it.
then people are going to be like, it was the same thing.
Yeah. That's the. I mean, like that's the shitty part of something being so good right out the bat. It's like how do you top it? How do you make it? It's
You
like
just move
Deadpool.
on. No, Deadpool can be topped. Like it's not. Look, it's great, but it's not that perfect. There's lots of things. You know, coverage is one thing too. Like the film, like it's everything's really close. Because of the budget and shit like that. Like
Right.
things like that. There's a lull in the middle of the film with the whole origin shit that I just fall asleep during.
Oh, the
Yeah,
holiday
I just
thing.
don't care about the whole that
Yeah.
whole thing.
Taping down on my light board 'cause that's fun to do. I'll take a picture for everyone to see. If you could go back in time and go to any WrestleMania thing, which one would it be?
3.
Why that one?
Well, it's the highest turnout ever.
Like
And
fans?
yeah, it was huge, dude. It was in Detroit. It's huge. You know, it's when Macho Man won the fucking title too. It was really good.
That'd be the one.
That'd be the one. Yeah.
Who would be your favorite guy to see?
Macho Man.
Oh.
He's the only one I ever got to see live. I'd see him when they come into town, you know, like we get free tickets. Because there's a lot of shit they would do. Like they're wrestling those matches all week. The shit you see on Saturday, they did that match 8 times during the week. You know, just they filmed it on Saturday. So I'd see it. But I mean, look, man. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like if I could go back in time, the last thing I'd fucking do is go to WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like that's the real question. Like I got other shit I would do before. You know, that's on the fucking ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go back and warn myself not to see the fucking prequels before I go. Well, maybe I wouldn't. I'd probably go to WrestleMania first. Yeah, I've been thinking about. I'm not a guy who dwells on the past much. Like, I mean, my career is something I think about often. But
Right.
in terms of like, oh, I wish I could go to the past, and I don't have that. You know, like
Right.
the deep past, like World War One. I mean, like video games are great for that, like via AR and shit. So that I
Oh,
enjoy.
did you play Battlefield 1 yet?
No, man, I've been busy learning how to. Come on, man. So the thing is, if I could go back and hang out somewhere I've been in the past, it probably would be the '92 Comic Con, because that's some shit that just is never gonna happen again. When the biggest thing at Comic Con was fucking comics, you know, like and artists, and it's just never gonna happen.
Right.
There's never gonna be this renaissance where we're like, oh my god, the fucking artist, oh, you know, like it's never going to happen.
Right. That's why I asked you on the what was it, 2 weeks ago on the podcast where I asked you if you ever see it making a comeback like that to where that,
Yeah.
rock star kind of
No.
Comic Con.
No. Matter of fact, I see it getting worse for artists. Before, if Twitter is any indication, we're in for some dark times. It's going to take a whole nother generation of kids who can't stand people telling them what they can and can't fucking draw. So, before that happens. Every year it was like, how you guys like, I wonder what they're gonna what trailer they're gonna show, man. I wonder what trailer. It was like, I wonder what comics they're gonna show, dude. I mean, it was crazy. Like that's even weird to me now to think, man. I mean, what
Right.
they fucking gonna have there that they're gonna, you know. Like the first time it wasn't about that was when Todd started doing those toys. I was like, oh, I wonder what fucking toys he's gonna show off there. And then by the time Spider-Man came out, boom. I mean, the Batman movies were going on, but even they didn't have much of a presence there. The Batmobile would be there, and you go, oh, look, it's the Batmobile. That would be about it. So glad you started taking care of your health. You know?
Yeah. I've been doing better. I just, there every once in a while I'll catch just like a chest cold or something and just can't shake it.
It's because that culture thrives in the dry heat, bro. It's true.
I believe you.
So yeah, I'd like to see that. Again, that if I could, which I doubt that'll ever happen. Unless they have a way of recalling memories, that'd be kind of dope. I
I
wouldn't
mean,
want to. I wouldn't want to fucking live my childhood. I just that one fucking day, bro. Like that would. Because I only went to my dude back then. I could only go one day. It wasn't until '93 I was able to start to go the 4 days. It's $20. If you bought it in January, it's $20.
it's like three to six
You
hundred
can't
now.
even get parking for $20 now. It's true. $20 ain't gonna cut you food.
Right?
Soda said free refills, so you'd buy a large soda, you're good. And spend $5. Actually, it was like $3 a day. So I'd get that, and then I'd get the nachos, and the nachos were huge, and that would fill me up. They had the unlimited fucking cheese and nacho shit. Now they're like, here's your baggie of chips, and it's like four. It's four chips in there. But that whatever the fuck they handed you was ridiculous. That weird fucking sandwich thing you ate.
Yeah.
That was like, why are you eating that? I'm hungry. Sorry. Best part was when I made friends with the guys at the concession stands. So I started trading them like free swag, dude, for like free food.
Right. Clever choice.
They used to have these like peanuts when you walk in. I don't know, these almonds, toasted almonds.
Huh.
So I found this Scentsy burner. It has the same smell. I'm like, oh, I put it on when I draw. I'm like at Comic Con.
That's funny. All right. I'm gonna go shower and bed and all that shit.
You're gonna need to when you do these flats, Brandon. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to start putting on your headphones. You can't take a month.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's fine. All right. Hit me up tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Night, everybody.
Hmm. All right, everybody. It is midnight, which means I need to sleep. Back at it tomorrow. We're going to wrap this up. And most of the second page. I don't think we'll be able to finish the whole page, given the time frame tomorrow. But we'll get through most of it. So we'll be all done by Thursday with this portion. Portion. Maybe I'll be done with this tomorrow. It's hit or miss. I don't know. Let's zoom out. So. But we made good time. Let's see, 3 hours. So we're at the 6 hour mark. 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, yeah. But interesting part about the smaller stuff is it actually gets drawn faster because there's less coverage. So anyhow, I will be back on tomorrow or later on today. Peace.